Hello, I'm Kurt Owen. Today on Fight to Win, we're going to find out whether sickness and disease is ever a blessing and it was ever the will of God for your life. We're also going to find out, does your life truly hang in doubt before you? Can you not make plans for tomorrow? We have some great product available to you, both this absolutely free or the pill bottle filled with scriptures. And in Tactical Tips, you're going to see another really cool belt.
To succeed in life, we have to fight. That's why winners train spirit, soul, and body. We have to be ready. Not your typical minister, Kurt Owen left a successful career in private investigation and executive protection for the ministry over 20 years ago. His simple, practical application of God's Word will reveal how much Jesus loves you and give you the ability to fight to win. Now, get ready for a tactical tip from Pastor Kurt.
Today on Tactical Tips, I want to talk to you about what I'm wearing now. I told you yesterday that I really like the Pharaoh Concepts belt, and as soon as they change the buckles, I'll go back to it. But what do you do if you don't want to draw attention to yourself by having this buckle? So this is what I've got now. Now, I was actually going to invent these, and then come to find out Ronin Tactical had some of these. Now, to be honest, I would make some changes to this. But be that as it may, it's what I'm using today. So this is what the panel normally looks like. And I'm just now getting this set up. That's the reason that not everything's on here. So this is my holster. It slides in there. These are my magazine pouches. Now these magazine pouches are Pharaoh Concepts magazine pouches. I do really like them. And this is actually my wallet normally. We took it out because I had my microphone in here a little while ago. And then this is the flashlight that I normally carry. So this is normally what I have on my waist all the time, with the exception of I do have a knife. But the reason I do this is it is a pain when you carry this stuff every day, and if you're going to carry it, you should carry it every day, getting up in the morning and then having to slide all this stuff on there. So what this does, it allows me to go ahead and the sleeves slide over a regular belt, and I'm able to just put it on, and now I'm ready for my day. It's got an underbelt that's Velcro that holds everything in place, and I really like these. Hello, I'm Kurt Owen. Welcome back to Fight to Win. Man, we've had an exciting week talking about healing, and I've said some stuff that's probably ticked some of you off, and you know what? It's going to get worse for you today, because I want to talk to you about the fact, this whole notion of you never know what tomorrow's going to bring, especially in the people with life. You're not promised tomorrow. No man is promised tomorrow. Is that true? So we're going to look at that. But we've been talking about healing all week, and we've got, as I said, we've got a great product for you. This is absolutely free. Our partners, I truly want every single one of you to get this. This is at least 14 hours of teaching on this subject, far more than what I'm able to get through in these broadcasts. We've had 1 week, we've got a second week of this, but you need to get this. So I'm asking you to go to kurtowen.com or fighttowin.tv or call us at the number at the bottom of your screen so that we can get this to you right away. I don't know whether it's coming to you digitally or whether it's USB or something, but you need this, because you need to be listening about healing every day. If you don't need healing today, you will soon, or definitely somebody that you know. And then also, for a donation of any amount, we're sending you this bottle filled with healing scriptures, because God's Word is medicine. Now, we're not giving this to you. This is not going to change your life forever. The teaching will, but this won't. But for all of you that give this month, we're going to be sending this to you, okay? Also, and you say, well, how can you do that? Well, our partners make that possible. And today on the broadcast, I'm going to give you the opportunity to become a partner, or to just sow a one-time gift into this ministry. And we've got a new project, if you want to be a part of that I want to tell you about, okay? Again, we're dealing with the fact of God's will towards healing, okay? And we've looked at it from a lot of different perspectives, but in particular, we're dealing with the fact that it is God's will to heal. It has always been God's will to heal, which comes in complete contradiction to the fact that where it says that Jesus, that healing passed away with Jesus and the apostles, the question begins, well, if healing didn't start with them, why would it end with them? If it was always the Father's will to heal, why not that? Now, I ended up with something yesterday, and I want to start there today. And this is from Luke chapter 11. And this is, for you Catholic brothers and sisters, this is called the Our Father. For you non-Catholic brothers and sisters, we just call this the Lord's Prayer, or I guess Catholics call it the Lord's Prayer too. I call it the model prayer because I don't think it's necessarily supposed to be verbatim, though it can be. But the name of Jesus isn't used in this prayer, and so it's only through the name of Jesus through Jesus that we have access to the Father. So, but anyway, but I want to go back over this prayer because it says this: Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. And I'm reading from the New King James. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now, the question becomes, we are literally supposed to be praying, your will be done on the earth as it is in heaven. Here's a question for you. Is there any sickness in heaven? That when you go to heaven, are you going to encounter sickness and disease? And the answer is no. So the question becomes, if we're supposed to pray, God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven, if our prayers are supposed to be around, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, Father, that's what we desire, that's what we want to see done, that's what we're contending for. And there is no sickness or disease in heaven. And this is the model prayer, or the Lord's Prayer, right? Or Our Father. Why do we not see that if God... okay, let me ask it this way. Why isn't there any sickness or disease in heaven? Because God doesn't want sickness and disease in heaven. And if that's His will there, we are supposed to contend for His will here. In other words, it is not God's will that you experience sickness and disease in heaven, and it's not God's will that you experience sickness and disease here. Are we all challenged with it? At some point or another, you're going to have to stand against it. I'll guarantee it. But you need to go from the perspective of, it's not the will of God, therefore I will not have it. It's not the will of God in my life, therefore, Father, your will be done today here on this earth as it is in heaven. No sickness and disease in heaven. You should contend for that no sickness and disease in your life, in the life of those around you. Now, I think that's pretty simple personally. And again, even though this is Jesus teaching this prayer, He's not contending on the basis of, I'm in the earth, so it's God's will. He's continuing on the fact, this is not the way it's done in heaven, therefore it shouldn't be done here. Now, now I'm really going to get into something, okay? And I guarantee you this is going to upset somebody, okay? And I'm okay with that, personally. I want you to go with me to Deuteronomy 28. Now, this is where the blessings and the curse of the law get dealt with and talked about, okay? And there's a couple things in particular here I want you to see. Sorry, this is a brand new Bible and I'm acting like I have no idea where Deuteronomy is. I want you to see a couple things in this that probably are going to shock you, okay? And I want you to get a hold of this. Now in 28 it says now this in verse 1, it says, Now it shall come to pass, if you diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God and observe carefully all of His commandments which I have commanded you this day, that the Lord your God will set you high above all nations, and all these blessings shall come upon you and then overtake you because you obey the voice of the Lord your God. Now technically, since Jesus has come, and Jesus being your Lord, technically the way you should view this verse in light of the New Testament, in light of the Lord Jesus is, you should view it this way. Now it has come to pass, because Jesus diligently obeyed the voice of the Lord our God, and He observed carefully all of His commandments, which the Lord commanded Him that day, that the Lord our God has set us high above all nations of the earth, and these blessings have come upon us and overtaken us, because Jesus obeyed the voice of the Lord our God. Because again, our righteousness is of Him, says the Lord. Remember that we are the righteousness of God in Christ. That this is all on the basis of Jesus' obedience. Now, this does not excuse your obedience. If you sow sin and death, you will reap corruption. If you sow to the flesh, you will reap corruption. But technically, our access to the blessings of God are not based upon our obedience, but the obedience of the Lord Jesus Christ. This is not a you story. This is not a Kurt Owen story. This is a Jesus story. And that's who we magnify. Okay? This is all on the basis of what He's in. Okay, so he goes on here and he talks about all the blessings that you're blessed. Then in about 15, it says this, "But it shall come to pass, if you do not obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all of His commandments and His statutes, which I command you today, then all these curses will come upon you and overtake you." All right, now, there's a lot in here, and I don't have time to read over all of this and break it all down. So I want to hit a couple catch-all verses in here, okay? And let's look at 61. Now, in the up till 61, between 15 and 61, there's a lot of sickness and disease mentioned. But then you get down to 61, and it says, or in verse 60, "Moreover, He will bring on you all the diseases of Egypt, which you are afraid of, and they shall cling to you." Now notice this, verse 61, "And also every sickness and every plague, which is not written in this book of the law, the Lord will bring upon you until you are destroyed." So, what does that mean? It means, listen, if you didn't find it written in the verses above, let me just explain to you. Even if it's not written here, the Lord will bring it. If it's not even written down, this sickness and disease has access to you. Now, people say, well, if God is loving, why would He do that? Real simple, because He promised He would. Listen, a lot of people don't realize this, and I don't have time to really get into this, but I love Jeff as I do my own soul. He is precious to me, okay? But if I told Jeff, you touch my wife, I'll kill you, okay? Then, and if I'm a God of my word, if he touches my wife, I'm going to kill him. I don't want to. I'm not sitting there saying, I've been waiting all this time to kill Jeff, and finally he's giving me a reason. That's not what my heart is. But if I'm a man of my word, if I tell you I'm going to hurt you, listen, I've had to tell my daughter, and I know this is going to upset some of y'all, but I don't care. I've had to tell my daughter, if you do that, again, I'm going to whip you. Once I say that, not whip like a whip, don't get crazy ideas, like spanker. And once she does that, I don't want to spank her. But if I said I would, I need her to know unequivocally that her dad is a man of his word. That way, when I tell her I love her, she knows it. Not only that, people say, well, you shouldn't spank your child. You ain't God. And God said, if I loved her, if I spared the rod, I hated my child. Maybe you hate your child, but I don't. And I don't want my child to grow up and be a brat like yours did. I want my child to grow up and to honor God and to honor her mom and dad so that she will live long upon the earth. That's what I desire for her. And if a short-term pain gives long-term benefits, then I'm okay with it. But I still hate it. I can't stand when she does something. But that is the consequence. It's the same thing with God the Father. I don't want to do this to you, but I swore to you I would, therefore I shall. If you want a better picture of that, read the last couple chapters of Joshua, where it says God has done everything good He said He would do. But be aware, if you violate His word, He will do everything He promised to do you to do that's bad. God is the God of His word. Okay? Now, every sickness and every disease, basically, according to 61, is under the curse of the law. Every sickness and every disease. Right? Now, years ago, we were on television before, and the grace was not there for me to do it. I knew I had to do it, but the grace wasn't there for me to do it. And I didn't like being on there, but this woman, I made a statement and I said that sickness and disease is a curse. It's not a blessing. So she wrote me and she said, how you are so prideful in your infinite, your limited and finite mind. You don't know that sickness couldn't be a blessing. You don't know that God could put sickness on you as a blessing to teach you something to help you. And you just don't have enough wisdom and enough knowledge to understand how it could be a blessing. So how dare you and how arrogant of you to say that all sickness is a curse when it could be a blessing in the heart of God. And I wrote back and I simply said, I didn't say sickness and disease was a curse. He did. And this is where I got it. Sickness is never a blessing. It's a curse. If sickness and disease is operating in your life, that is a curse operating in your life. That is not a blessing from God. That is a curse, and it is not meant for you to ever have it. The whole point of Deuteronomy 28 was, I don't want this evil stuff coming upon you, so if you'll do what I tell you, it won't show up in your life. You feel me? Because He didn't want them to have this. He didn't want to do this to them. He didn't want them to be the recipient of this. But every sickness and every disease is a curse. And if you've allowed, I can tell you why you're sick. If you've allowed some numbskull to convince you that sickness and disease can be a blessing, I know why you're sick. A friend of mine, when he was younger, there was a girl that he was engaged to that he had gone to Vietnam. And my friend had this girl that she said, this guy had said that sickness and disease could be a blessing. And she said, well, if it can be a blessing, then I think, I want leukemia or something like that. And so she prayed, and 2 days later she had leukemia, and she died of it. And my friend didn't find out till later that wasn't true, because I think he kind of believed it himself at the time. Doesn't believe it today, but the thing of it is that every sickness and every disease is a curse. And as long as you believe it can be a blessing from God, it's going to stick around in your life and you're not going to get rid of it. And you're double-minded if you're taking medicine to get rid of it. Because at one point you're saying it's the will of God, and another point you're saying this sickness and disease is supposed to teach me something. Anyway. But this says every sickness and disease is a curse, and that man was not meant to encounter it. It was never God's will for man to encounter sickness and disease. This whole stupid nonsense about how, you've got to have bad in order to understand good. That's a lie. That's a lie. Man had never known bad. All he knew was good until the day he became an idiot and violated the will of God. Listen. Anyway, I don't want to go too far afield with that. Now, so every sickness and every disease is under the curse of the law. Now, notice here in Galatians, let's go to Galatians 3:13. And listen, I know I'm hard about some of this stuff, but I love you, and I do not want you to live under this. I don't want this to be your life. I want you to live long in the earth so that you can fulfill the plan of God for your life. And I don't want some devil taking you out by convincing you that it's God in your life causing sickness and disease rather than Him. Now, and let me just say, ultimately, all sickness and disease originated with the devil and him convincing man to make that choice. Well, technically, all sickness and disease originated with Adam, okay? And him making the choice to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Death entered the world, or sin entered the world, and death by sin, right? And so if you've got sickness, you don't necessarily have a devil. This is a fallen world. There are sicknesses and diseases, but you are redeemed from all of it. Galatians 3:13 says this. It says, Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us, as it is written, cursed is everyone who hangs on the tree. Now notice this, that the blessing of Abraham might come upon the Gentiles in Christ Jesus, and that we might receive this promise of the Spirit through faith. The blessing of the Abraham, did you notice how he died young at an old age? That he was still skipping and hopping with the ladies? I mean, even after Sarah dies, he marries a couple more times, has more kids. Because healing was working in his body. Life was working in his body. Now, Notice here, under the curse of the law is every sickness. 61, every sickness and every plague is under the curse of the law. Christ has redeemed from the curse of the law. What's another way, putting those two verses together, what could we lay hold of? Christ has redeemed us from every sickness and every disease. Because they're all under the curse of the law, and Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. In fact, one of the things that I would encourage you to do, and this is not all I'm going to teach you about this, but this is what I would do. If you're dealing with cancer today, I'd look at this and say, every sickness and every disease is under the curse of the law. Therefore, cancer is under the curse of the law. Therefore, Christ has redeemed me from cancer. Christ has redeemed me from the curse of the law. Every sickness and every disease is under the curse of the law. Cancer is under the curse of the law. Therefore, Christ has redeemed me from cancer. I am redeemed from cancer. And there's times I've set my Bible just like this, where I could look and say, here, every sickness and every disease is under the curse of the law. Christ has redeemed me from the curse of the law. Therefore, Christ has redeemed me from cancer. I'm redeemed. Every sickness and every plague is under the curse of the law. Therefore, cancer is under the curse of the law. Christ has redeemed me from the curse of the law. Every sickness and disease is under the curse of the law. Cancer is under the curse of the law. Therefore, Christ has redeemed me from cancer. I am redeemed. You declare your own redemption. I am the redeemed of the Lord. Oh, just go back to it. People say, well, I've got, I don't know, heart problems, heart disease. Every sickness and every disease is under the curse of the law. Heart disease is under the curse of the law. Christ has redeemed me from the curse of the law. Therefore, Christ has redeemed me from heart disease. I am redeemed from heart disease. Heart, you listen to me, I'm talking to you. I'll not permit heart disease in you anymore because Christ has redeemed me from you. I am the redeemed. Now, I'm going to touch on this, and then next week, man, I've got a lot to pack into 5 days. But this is something I'm probably shouldn't make you mad before I receive an offering, but I'm going to, because you being delivered is more important than the offering. If you drop down to verse 66, where people make this statement, they say, well, you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Notice here in 66, under the curse, your life shall hang in doubt before you. You shall fear day and night and have no assurance of life. For your life to hang in doubt before you and for you to have no assurance of life is under the curse of the law. Christ has redeemed me from the curse of the law. It's like the others say, well, if the Lord wills, I'll see you tomorrow. And I'd say, well, the Lord wills, I'll see you tomorrow. My life does not hang in doubt before me. I have assurance of life. Christ has redeemed me from the curse of the law. People say, well, yeah, but it says over there, what is your life but a vapor of smoke? How dare you say that? Yeah, I tell you what, I'll cover that next week. In fact, I'll pick up there. Now, if I haven't made you too mad, let's talk about receiving an offering this week. And even if I have, honestly, I am willing to forego resources if it means you receiving your healing. If I make you so mad you can't sleep and you spend the night going over these scriptures and then tomorrow you wake up well, it is worth it any money that you did not give to this ministry because you are more important than that. But however, this ministry does have bills to pay and I do need to receive offerings. And so I'm going to ask you to become a partner. Now, the product, before I get into the offering, I do want to remind you, I'd like you to contact the ministry at kurtowen.com or fighttowin.tv. Besides, if I've made you so mad you just want to prove me wrong, this would be an excellent way. You could go verse by verse to prove me wrong. So you should get this and listen to it. If you think I'm out of my tree, get this product so you can prove me wrong. Listen to it over and over so you can do it, so that healing will start working in your body. But this is yours absolutely free. Contact the ministry, fighttowin.tv, the number at the bottom of your screen, or kurtowen.com. Also, for a gift of any amount this month, and we're getting ready to receive the offering, you're going to receive this free gift, this medicine bottle. Now, I want to talk to you about becoming a partner, okay? Also, I want you to be aware that you can text to give. You can text GIVE, KOM, to 45777 and become a partner today, okay? I need your partnership. We are trying to reach people all over the world with these unapologetic truths about the Word of God. We're trying to let Christian men that they don't have to become wimps to worship Jesus. But this costs money. And I'm just being as plain as I can with you. If you'd like to give a one-time gift, you can go to our websites, kurtowen.com or fighttowin.tv and do that, or text the number at the bottom of your screen. I'll have them put that up, or call the number at the bottom of your screen. If you want to give a one-time gift, I would love for you to do that, but our bills show up every month. How about yours? And I'd like you to join with me in this partnership. I'd like you, as you become a partner, you empower me to be on your television set every day to teach you these truths as simple as I know how to make them. One of the big things we get a response is you make the truth so simple. I'd like to continue to do that, but in order to do that, I have to pay for this television time. Now, we have a project coming up that I'll talk to you a little bit more about, but we're calling it Next Level 2023. In which we're believing God for a quick to come in $250,000 that will allow us to consolidate some things. We need to buy some portable buildings to put on our church property for our call prayer ministers and things. And so I want you to consider becoming a partner. Come back, I want to pray with you.
Does God care about healing? If so, who does He want to heal? Pastor Kurt Owen addresses these questions and more in this audio series from a recent Healing School conference. We're offering this audio series for free as our gift to you. Also, for a donation of any amount, we'll send you this medicine bottle with healing scriptures and confessions you can read and speak daily as your prescription from the great physician. Get yours today on our website, fighttowin.tv, or by calling 1-800-215-0428.
Thank you for becoming a partner today, or thank you for your one-time gift. By the way, if you give a one-time gift, you go on the prayer list for 1 year, is the way that works. But if you become a partner, you're on there. We're in this together. And again, you can contact us at kurtowen.com, fighttowin.tv. Give KOM, text Give KOM to 45777. Or call the number at the bottom of your screen. But I want to pray with you. Father, I thank you for our new partners today and for our current partners. I thank you for these people who are giving one-time givers. Father, I thank you that today all of the people that are healed during these broadcasts, all these people that come out of the bondage of wrong doctrine, Lord, I thank you that they are fruit to their account right here today. That, Lord, the same way that they are blessed in heaven and they're blessed on the earth. And Father, I thank you that these will not be deceived, that you are not going to be mocked. Whatever they're sowing into this ministry, they'll also reap. In Jesus' name, amen. I'll see you next week on Fight to Win. I'm Kurt Owen. Remember, Jesus is risen and victory is assured.
Not your typical minister, Kurt Owen left a successful career in private investigation and executive protection for the ministry over 20 years ago. His simple, practical application of God's Word will reveal how much God loves you and give you the ability to walk in victory with Jesus.